Welcome to What If We Can Change It All, the podcast.
A podcast created by Movement.medicine.
My name is Shadisa.
And my name is Janina.
We believe that we have the power and therefore we can change it all.
This podcast is all about reclaiming your power. Welcome everyone to a new episode. Today we have a very special guest. Her name is Nicole Cole. And for those of you actually who saw my health video, Nicole was the person that I was talking about doing the classes with. She is amazing. She is a dance teacher. She's a professional dancer as well. And I would say what Nicole really gives in her classes is like a massive cheerleading vibe, which I really like. So yeah, do you mind introducing yourself a bit?
Well, yes, okay, then that's me. I'm that Nicole. And yeah, indeed, I'm a professional dancer. And right now I live in Amsterdam teaching all kinds of classes, starting from twerk to sexy heels and some chair dance, striptease and seduction. So basically everything that has some feminine energy in it is based in my cup of tea. And next to this, I also organize events with other guest teachers from all over the world. And again, the events are mainly for not necessarily women, but people who really want to tap into their feminine energy and connect with their sensuality through the art of dance. Like dancing is our main tool to pursue that. And yeah, I also do tutorials, but basically like my life revolves around feminine energy and dancing. Yeah, that's me.
Oh, thank you. How did you, like, when you started dancing, did you like went straight into like the whole feminine women empowerment thing, or did you start somewhere else, and how did you go into it?
No, I actually started dancing when I was 4. So that was a little bit too early to tap into feminine energy. But I am from Poland. I was born and raised in my early years in Poland. And the thing is that, especially now living in the Netherlands, I noticed that even though Poland is not that far, there is a very big cultural difference when it comes to how women act and how they are, so when I grew up, I always saw my mom and my grandma having their nails done. My mom is almost always on heels, even when she's just home cooking. Like she always does makeup. She sleeps in like this, things that make her hair curly every day for life. So like I grew up seeing like women enjoying being just like feminine and that was like a normal thing. Whereas when I moved to the Netherlands, I noticed that women are just more grounded by default. Of course, it's not like 100% everyone. So that was something that I grew up with. But when I was 4, I actually started from gymnastics. So I did acrobatics on a quite high level till I was 12. And then I had a pretty serious wrist injury. So I moved to dancing. And, I did like ballet and lyrical jazz. So I started from more technical dancing, but those things are still pretty, I would say, still feminine and gracious, like ballet and everything. It's still all about lines, all about being so delicate. So that was my beginning. That's how I started. Yeah.
And what was for you the shift? Because I can imagine that you also started doing it dance-wise because you liked it, right?
Yeah.
And what for you was the shift from being it something you like to do into I actually want to spread a message here?
That's a really good question, I think it kind of like started organically. So, like years were passing by and I was exploring different dance styles. And already when I was like a teenager, like 15, 16 years old, I noticed that I do really actually love being like a woman, whether it's in dancing or whether it's outside. Like I really loved makeup. I did some modeling jobs. So I was really always a girly girl. I even remember when I did a lyrical jazz a show back in Poland still, we had a little bit of a flamenco / tango show with like red dress and a little bit of drama. And I was like, oh my God, that's my vibe. and we did it on heels. So that was the first time when I was dancing in heels, and I really loved it. And I was like, oh my God, I want more of that. Because I really felt like this is something that's so aligned with who I am. But anyways, like when I became older, I started teaching classes. And first it just started, from, teaching dance classes, like later on, in later years, I started teaching twerk. And first, I was in my early 20s. So I was like, twerk is fun. Let me just teach women how to shake their booties. But really quickly, especially because by then I was already in the Netherlands, I noticed that it's not really just a dance class for most women, that it really goes so much deeper. And I just, like I said, organically understood that I am actually not only teaching them dance class, but I am creating space for them to feel comfortable, to explore parts of themselves that they never felt safe to explore. And this is where, I understood it, and I decided to consciously take control over this part of teaching classes, dive deeper into it. And as I was getting older and older, now I'm 32, so I've been teaching dance class like 16 years. I have bigger understanding of how do I plan the class and what's my intention behind it, besides teaching a choreography.
I actually really loved it, because I remember when I first came to your class, I actually didn't want to go, uh, because my friend, she went to your class and she was like, gee, we really have to try this. And I was like, yeah, if I want to learn how to twerk, I would do it at home in front of the mirror, right? And then I went to class and I was like, I absolutely loved it. And I remember I called my sister and I was like, she was like, you liked it, how? Because she knew I would like it. I was like, yeah, I loved it. You should go with us because it was amazing and blah, blah, blah. But before I went, I never imagined that it would also have an effect on your mental health. Because often when we think of for example, twerk class, we think, okay, it's just something superficial because you stuff, but the whole process and mindfuck that you go to in your class is actually, oh, it is so interesting because you never think about that before you go.
No, but it really goes from both sides. I mean, now after all those years, I am very aware of it, and I also take it way more seriously. But yeah, it was a little bit similar to me. Like at some point, I even kind of got scared. I was like, oh my God, because some women would write me a whole note, or sometimes to this day I get flowers from girls and they write me cards and they explain what the class meant to them. And especially when I was in my early 20s, I felt overwhelmed by the impact and responsibility. And I think it's the same for participants. Sometimes you just come for a class as a joke and then you end up crying and having a whole mental breakdown that leads to breaking certain walls and you feeling the whole different spectrum of emotions. Yeah. Funny. Oh, hello.
Can you tap into that a bit deeper, because I feel like there's a lot of taboo and a lot of judgment around sensual classes, twerk classes, and all of that, and I think it has a great healing power as well. And I think I would love for the world to be a bit more aware of that and open of that. So what would you say about that?
Yeah, so I think a lot and I reflect a lot, and I have ADHD, so I have plenty of thoughts in my head constantly, and I overthink a lot. So this is something actually that I've been thinking a lot, especially last month, because where do I even start? Yes, so all this dancing, right? Sensual dancing, twerk, pole, whatever. Now we already know that women need this. And if you are experienced teacher, you can create very beautiful and safe space where women, especially who are not that familiar with that side of themselves, can explore it and connect with it. And that is amazing. That is great. Now, of course, society has a lot to say about it. And, because, I mean, we live in a world that has set of rules set by men. To be specific, white middle-aged men. That's the frame that we live in, right? It's a reality. So everything that kind of, and you know, like we are moving forward a little bit, right? Like things are slowly changing, but it goes like we make 3 steps forward and then 2 steps back, you know, or maybe even 4. So yeah, it is what it is, you know, like if you do something that's like out of this box that has been like created for us, it's always going to be frowned upon, and there's going to be plenty of people that will have opinion about it and that will criticize it. And you know, as a woman, we are very easy and quick to be put into like box of being slutty, of I don't know, asking for attention, all that, you know. And I really don't like that, but I've learned to a certain extent to just ignore it and leave this a problem of people who criticize me, because I really know who I am and I really know what I stand for, and I really know that like me personally, and also a lot of women who come to my class, are so much more than that. Like besides being like super sexy and, you know, loving our body and celebrating it and expressing our feminine energy, we're also super smart, super entrepreneurial. A lot of women who come to my class are great mothers. So, you know, we also take those society boxes that they really like, you know what I mean? So that's part 2 that I wanted to like mention and make clear. But then I must say there's one thing that's also a little bit tricky in my opinion, and I still have to like kind of solidify my views on that. And I'm not sure yet how I feel about it, because now, because being sexy and dancing sexy became such a trend, I feel like some people like use it the wrong way, or maybe they're guided by people who are not really grown up in their mind yet. And at the end of the day, like a lot of younger and insecure girls become a little bit of a victim of this, I don't want to say trend, because trend sounds like something negative, but of this movement, maybe that's a better word. Um, and then they're saying that they're celebrating their sexuality, but they're not grown up enough yet to understand what is it, what is sensuality, and how to feel confident, and what is actual true confidence. And then when they encounter a little bit shallow and not experienced teacher, they both like ride that wave, but what they actually do is just like dance half naked for attention. And you know, then they post it on Instagram, they see that they get a lot of likes, and that's their main drive to continue doing it. And then they say they're doing it for celebrating femininity and that they're like feminists, they put it in their Instagram bio, but that is not actually it. And that is, I feel like, something very dangerous, where yeah, it can go wrong. You get me? I spoke for a really long time, but there's like layers to it.
Talking about this as well a lot. Because yes, there is like such a big taboo, and at the same time it's also misused a lot, right? And how, I mean, we both went to your classes, and then I did, and I think we did both research also, and went a bit deeper. I mean, it's also culture, right? And there's a whole knowledge and a whole way of doing it behind, and it's not just about, I mean, there's also a sense of like just enjoying yourself and celebrating, but it's not just shaking your booty and that's it. And I feel like it's also not about getting attention shared, and I feel indeed it's like misused a lot. Misuse is a big word, but it's like used a lot to just get attention, and also I think I can say male attention, and then just use it for the wrong ways. And I don't want to, it's not about judging, but I do think we have to be careful with that and not yeah, it can become pretty dangerous if we use it in that way, and harmful for ourselves and our bodies and how we use that.
Yeah.
I think more importantly is that why it is like dangerous is also because more of the emotional field that is attached to that, right? Because if you have a teacher and you're also not feeling safe in that space, but you want to do it because you're in that class already and you don't feel safe to do it, you're overstepping your own boundary, right? And that on its own is traumatizing, and that on its own has an effect on the body, has an effect on the mind. And I think that's where the dangerous part comes in, because people forget that. but we as humans are also multi-layered. So to just think, okay, I'm just doing this because everyone does it and it makes a lot of money or whatever it is, it's with every topic in life. There's always some other knowledge that is needed in order to like really spread that message, because otherwise you're not spreading the message, you're spreading a hype.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why also, again, like, because I realize like how much responsibility at the end of the day, like I carry. Sometimes, honestly, it freaks me out. And I even sometimes like talk about it with like other dance teachers, like Ronnie, for instance, from Rotterdam, the owner of Goddess Room. Like she also does a lot of things like this. And she's also my age and she has a daughter. So, you know, like we discuss these things a lot. And I actually told her, like, you know, sometimes I really feel like we should do some psychology training or something to like be able to stand up to like the task, because again, you know, like sometimes when I do like self-love affirmations, like all I want to do is just kind of trigger your positive vibes and like, you know, like way of positive thinking. But then for some women it's so like big to like even say that they're pretty into to their reflection in the mirror, that it just breaks them down, and then they're like, you know, start crying, and then they open up and tell me about their divorce and everything. But I'm like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just a dance teacher and I don't want to step into like the field where I'm not actually qualified to yeah, to be stepping in, you know. um so that's why I think it's very important to like just first of all constantly like evolve and grow and like educate yourself as much as you can, but also like be aware that if you're doing things like this, like if you're doing dance class like this, and you also like decide to like go beyond just teaching dance class, you have to be very careful and aware that you're dealing with people's emotions, and sometimes you can tap into people's traumas. And yeah, it's very important to like just be aware and be grown up enough to like know about it, I suppose.
I think it's a part that's mostly forgotten about, right? That when we do something or when, and it sounds like it's just a dance class, right? Maybe for people, but like when we're holding space in some sort of way, something can always be broken open. And I think we forget how important it is that we are also able to a certain level, right? Because we are not able to always hold everyone, but so like that there is like a certain level of being able to hold someone in that, or being able to understand, and it's not just about shaking your booty and then letting
Yeah.
it.
And you know, of course, it is also super beautiful because now, like, you know, the conversation took turn of like, what if it goes wrong? So, you know, like it got a little dark. But you know, again, on the flip side of this story, like if you do it right, like we said at the beginning, you know, it can have such a beautiful outcome because, you know, again, next to like learning how to like move your waist and, you know, like move in a feminine way, yeah, you also like learn to embrace your body regardless whether you have big booty, small booty, whether you just had a baby or whatever. And that still remains like a very beautiful, I don't want to even say side effect because it's as big as like learning to dance. So yeah, that becomes really beautiful outcome of like doing classes like this, like not only twerk, but like I said, pole dance, heels, striptease and seduction, all that, you know, type of classes. And I still love that. And I really like it that like, you know, more and more people do that. Yeah.
I love that. I think that's really important. And I had a question. I left my mind.
So I can go first.
Yeah.
Because you shared also something about um being in different boxes, right? Or society wanting you to be in one box, not you, but like people in general. And you already tapped into that briefly, like, right? Like having people in your class that are mothers and like aren't smart, but yeah, can you just dive a bit deeper into that?
Yeah, so you know, before I forget, I spoke about this already, like in one like a conference some I think a year ago, like similar topic, you know, like can you be feminist and twerk, la la la, all that, and I again spoke about those boxes because I actually wrote my bachelor thesis also about topic related to like being feminist and being also like super sexy and hot. And so that's how I, you know, I mean, I haven't learned about it, like I was aware of it, but like it's literally like research proven that this is it, like that's the society we're living in, right? So yeah, we have these boxes, okay, cool. And of course, like myself and a lot of people like me disagree with that. And I was talking about it, and then there was this psychologist over there at this conference that told me that the boxes thing, putting into boxes thing, is very natural thing for us human beings, and we all do that because we need certain patterns and structure to function. So not all boxes are bad. Like for instance, the fact that you have to go on green light and stop on red light is actually pretty good box to like, you know, have in your a hard drive, because this is how, again, our society functions. But then it becomes problematic when it is applied into a little bit more complex societal issues, or like, you know, matters, like for instance this, you know, like where one human being is so much more than somebody that looks just like this can comprehend, you know. um so yeah, it's just been a thing forever basically, I guess. But I feel like now it becomes a bigger thing because of social media, and more women speak up. And again, like there is this movement where more and more women started to take twerk class and pole dancing, and you have more women, for instance, who maybe are doctors in their professional life or lawyers, but at the same time they do pole dance, and now they're not holding back. They also post it on social media, and of course it causes some scandals, and then it goes viral and people have discussions about it. And you know, some people actually maybe change their mind, as in like they start to understand and they accept it. And that, I think, kind of breaks through, like helps to like break certain stereotypes and helps maybe to expand the boxes, you know. um so yeah, that's also like a really great thing, and I really love seeing it. um and yeah, that's basically like all I want to say. And I even, like, you know, I even see it on a smaller scale, because I remember when I started teaching twerk class, my twerk class was like the only one in Amsterdam, and like I think it was second twerk class in the Netherlands per se. And I had like 8 women, you know, in my classes. And now, like 7 years later, there's plenty of twerk teachers in Amsterdam and outside. All classes are full. You know, I myself teach 6 classes a week, like heels and twerk, and people ask me for more, but I just, you know, I can't handle more. So yeah, so look how much it grew. So that just shows that like more and more women are less afraid to get out from that box. And you know, again, even though it goes really slow, I feel like society is changing a little bit, and like, you know, people start to understand and allow it. That just, I mean, long story short, like just the fact that you want to be like sexy and then sexy after hours, or maybe even like, I don't know, put some red lipstick, doesn't mean that you are like less of a lawyer or less of a, I don't know, directing, that man manager or director, you know what I mean? That's great.
It's beautiful because it also shows the willingness that women are now taking to actually celebrate themselves, celebrate their bodies, but also to be in that class with other women and empower each other in that way. So it is actually, yes, it might be like a small step, but I think the more of these places are coming and the more of women are aware of it, the bigger it gets and also the faster it gets.
Mhm. Yeah, Like, I also remember like I actually wanted to organize like a striptease workshop because I really like the striptease vibes, because this is really like something intimate, and like my mom was always like kind of joking that, like a lot of women, they want to be like, they want to like be a stripper, but like, behind the closed doors, like everybody has a little bit of a stripper in themselves. And that's why, like, we women, we like to wear like a nice lingerie sometimes, again, not all women, but there is like a big target group for that who like likes to, just put something on and stuff. So I came up with this idea like in 2016, like, oh, maybe I can organize like a striptease workshop. And I think like one person signed up. Whereas now, all my striptease workshops, I organize them almost monthly. I sold out like this. Like there's 35 women in like 2 days signing up. So again, that shows that like more and more women are up for it. Ooh, to connect with that part of them, to celebrate it. And I think society, even though sometimes it can be annoying and judgmental, on the other hand, I feel like society kind of slowly facilitates that. Like women see that, oh, okay, I'm not gonna get fired if I post a pole dance video, on my social media. So yeah, I really love to see that. And yeah, I'm just really happy to see that, like, expanding more and more.
Yeah. Should we go to our tip, please? What would your ultimate tip be for our listeners?
I mean, it's a very general, like, if it was like for all listeners, I think I just have this like default tip in my head again that comes from my mom, to just be you and like do you, like unless you're like breaking law or like hurting other other people's feelings. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back, because sometimes you do have to hurt other people's feelings. But unless you're doing something extremely like illegal or extremely hurtful for others, you really should just follow your heart and do whatever you want to do and be whoever you want to be, you know? Like, to give you an example, to keep it maybe a little bit less generic, if you, just a simple example, if you're a mom but you also want to take pole dance class and you feel like, oh my God, what are my friends gonna say? What, I don't know, my neighbor's going to say. Well, fuck them. Like, are they paying your bills? No. Does that make you any less of a mom? No, just do it. Let people judge. Don't preoccupy yourself that much with like what other people will say. Because at the end of the day, what's the most important is like how you feel about yourself when you look in the mirror.
I love that. I think that's a really good and strong tip to, what's the word? To end. Thank you.
Thank you. And how can people find you?
Well, you can find me on my Forever Shadow Band Instagram, but it doesn't matter. So my name is Nicole Cole .dancer. I also have backup account, which is very easy to find, so then you can find me through that one. And I also have a company Instagram, which is Femme_Confidence. I also have a YouTube channel, which is Nicole Cole, and like if you Google me or like look me up in YouTube, you're gonna find me very easy over there. I have lots of tutorials on that YouTube channel as well, for free. So those are like the main platforms where you can find me.
And if listeners are listening, which they are, for sentence, but if they feel like, okay, I want to join an event of Femme Confidence, I want to do something for Nicole, like, is there anything coming up that they can join?
Oh my God, yes, we have so many events and so many things happening. So the soonest coming one is in March. 2nd of March, I'm going to be teaching actually a chair dance with your bestie workshop with Ronnie. So it's going to be a choreography with a chair, and you can come with your best friend, with your with your girlfriend, or like, you know, a boyfriend who's ready to, like, you know, be feminine and sexy. And we are going to do a chair dance choreo with lap dance elements. So you're also going to learn some lap dance moves, and you're going to dance on and with your bestie. So that's the soonest one. And right after that, we have a very big event with international guests, also Femme Confidence, where we're going to have lots of different classes, from heels to soca, to some strip and seduce class. And it's going to be on a lot of levels as well. So yeah, that's also a really cool one to attend, actually.
And last question, do they need to be, because I think it's helpful for them, do they need to have like a lot of dance experience to join?
No, I you know, I feel like there's enough of classes for intermediate and professional dancers, where you can focus on just perfectionizing your craft as a professional dancer. So I leave that to others. And my classes, I would say, are open for everyone. So if you're a professional dancer, you're still going to benefit from it, because it's so different than what we do at the like studying dancing, like at the dance schools. And you can imply your dance experience to, like, you know, make moves like a little cleaner, or like, you know, more fancy. But overall, I really do my best to have the classes very accessible for beginners, because at the end of the day, I feel like that's my main target group. So I always make sure that beginners are on the front line and they never feel left out.
Good. Cool. Cool. I think that's it for now. Thank you so much for hopping on with us. I think this is bringing a new perspective in our whole podcast so far. We are super grateful that you hopped on. Go find her, follow her, and that's it. Not doing anything else to share.
No.
Thank you so much, and see you all next week. And thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Thank you so much, you guys.